Today, more and more people are spending a lot more time outdoors. Does your backyard live up to the entertaining you want to be doing? Today on For Your Home, we'll show you how to transform an average backyard into a great entertainment space. Every week at For Your Home, we get tons of letters from you, the viewers, asking us to help you with your projects. We go through them and we pick out the ones that we think would make the best shows. So you can imagine my surprise when the people in the office bring in to me an email from my own son, Tony. He's asking for help with a project. I think that was so clever of you. You sat down and decided to write into your mom, huh?
Well, absolutely. Why not? So, yeah, we watch your show every week, and so we thought, why not throw ours in the mix and see what happens?
Well, I think that it was really fun. So tell me what you want to have done at your house.
Well, we do a lot of entertaining, and we have 3 teenage daughters, and so what we thought is that we would have an extension from outside because, of course, in the Michigan summers, you know, we're outside all the time. And so we thought maybe if we could do a fire pit and maybe a kitchen, maybe some paved stones, something to extend.
Because you just have like a little small deck now that was put on the house when you had it built, and that's really not enough to accommodate your family at all.
It's not, no. So, and we have a lot of bonfires and so forth in the for the 3 seasons. So, yeah, we figured that would be great if we could put that in the backyard.
Okay, well, let me tell you something about For Your Home. First of all, for those of you who think that it's just we come in and do everything, that's not the case. All the homeowners have to put in some sweat equity. So are you willing to do that?
I'm fine with that, yeah. I mean, I grew up in a DIY family, so of course, yeah.
Yeah, so you're up to the task, huh?
Totally up to the task.
You think after living with me you have some skills,
No problem.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so, well, let's make a list of the things that we want to do, and let's see if we can get a team together and see if we can't make this Michigan project turn out.
Sounds good.
Now, my first job was to get together a crew that could handle Tony's wishes. This is Matt Schmucker, and he is our landscaper. He's with Apex Landscaping, and they're one of the premier landscapers in the area, so I know he's up to the task, right?
That's right.
All right. Okay, so you saw Tony's wish list, right?
I did.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Well, I think it's a great wish list. You know, this is a fairly common situation that we come across with a small deck off of a house. A deck that's really not suited for
what the builder puts on.
Yeah, they just meet kind of the bare minimum to do that. And the deck's really too small to do any outdoor entertaining. So to transition down from that deck into more of a usable space, I think is really important.
Yeah, because this backyard is really beautiful. I mean, there's a pond out there in the natural area, and everything is like all happening up there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime you can get down into the outdoor space and experience it a little bit more and take in these great views, it just makes for a more pleasant experience.
Okay, so how do you see this coming together?
I think, moving the staircase into a different location opens up this area a lot. And then bringing that into more of a sitting area here and then transitioning over into another area there. We try to treat the outdoors like the indoors and give you different areas to live in. So you want a dining space, you want maybe a space that you can have a fire pit in.
Right.
Maybe another space that has an occasional chair and a love seat and more of a sitting area.
Yeah,
and so we'll
try to do that direction.
Yeah, so we'll try to create some different spaces for them. And then
okay, so you see a combination of stone and wood and different elements?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a nice mixture of elements. And so we can create, one area out of the deck. So more of a wood or a composite area. And then we can do some things with pavers. So we can have maybe the fire pit or an outdoor kitchen or a sitting area or something like that. And we can use pavers and some stone and things like that.
Okay, well, keep in mind that we're working on a budget. All right? Everybody's working on a budget.
Always.
Everybody tells you that, right?
Yeah. I never have a limited budget.
There's a job where people go like, there is no limit, right? Okay, so come up with some plans, and when you do, I'll share those with Tony and Di, and we'll see what they think.
That sounds great.
All right, I'll let you get busy.
All right, thanks.
Tony and his wife Di have 3 teenage girls and a really busy life. They do a lot of entertaining and would love to have a large outdoor living space complete with fire pit and an outdoor kitchen. Okay, I got together with Matt. He's our landscaper on the project, and he and I talked about some of the things you told me that you wanted, and he worked up a design for us, took some measurements. I want you to really look at this and let's talk about what the features are and make sure you like it, because this one will be set in stone once he's got it all put together. Okay, so what he thought that would work out for you guys is you have this small old deck at the back of the house. It's kind of a nice transition from the inside of the house to the outside of the house. So he suggests that we keep that the size that it is, but replace the wood that's on it and do, you know, maybe a composite lumber or something more up to date on it. And then he's got the stairs running down by the side of it, and I don't know if that's really the best place for it, so think about it.
Yeah.
And then he's got it coming down to a second level deck that's just a little bit off the ground. And then he's got another area that has paver stones in it here. And then that connects over to your existing patio that you already have at the walkout of the basement. So tell me what you think about this.
Well, I think I actually would like the steps maybe towards the house to open that up.
Okay.
And then what do you think? And then
Well, I was thinking too that if you come down the steps instead of maybe a second level deck, maybe we could add an area for a spa or a hot tub, and then maybe do a walkway
Now, are we thinking
around.
about doing a spa now, or is that like a phase 2 kind of thing?
That's a future plan.
Okay,
phase
you know,
two.
and that's a good point too, is anytime you have something in your mind that you want to do at a later date, maybe your budget can't afford it right now, or you're not really sure, but you think it's something you want, you should always incorporate that into the master plan, because later it's going to be more expensive to go in and start busting things up.
Yeah.
So you would like a spa like between for the stairs, so you could just
Great
come
idea.
right out of the house or out of the basement to do it. Okay, so what about the paver? Let's talk about this paver space over here.
yeah, I like that idea, and I like the concept that he did. Maybe if we put a fire pit in there too, and
Okay.
I like the idea of keeping the existing pad too, and building off of that.
Yeah.
And then if I like the wall too. I think that's a great idea.
What about a kitchen?
Oh yeah.
An outdoor kitchen is a great feature, especially when you have a 2-story house. Because up here is your kitchen. So if you're entertaining, you don't want to be taking your barbecue and running all the way downstairs, or your salad and grilling down there. So if we could incorporate a kitchen that is close to your basement doors, you know, because in your basement you have a bar that's built in there, so it kind of makes, you know, think about when you're looking at this deck, and this is what Matt was doing too. He was thinking about zones. All right, so when you look at this, think about how you would, just like a house, you have a living space. You know, like this top deck is really your foyer, where you could put just 2 chairs out there,
Right.
and it's nice, and you could just transition. You don't want to be on a second floor with no way to access the outside. And then, you know, down here where you have the spa, that's another area. And then we have the pavers with a fire pit, that's kind of a gathering area. And then if we put the kitchen over close to the access to the downstairs basement walkout, then you kind of have a kitchen bar zone.
That'd be great.
In
you
that
like that
area.
idea?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Now let's talk about what you would like to have incorporated in that kitchen, because you know you can go crazy, but remember, if you go crazy, you also have to have gas, electricity, water,
Right.
and that can get expensive.
Yeah.
So what kind of things are really important to you to have in a kitchen?
Well, I think probably
A refrigerator,
a fridge or a grill.
maybe a cooler.
Yep. Okay. All right.
Definitely a grill.
And some
Definitely
cabinetry, you know, to keep some of the things out there. Like you said, if you've got your
Yeah.
kitchen is on the second level, it'd be nice to have that downstairs. Yeah.
Okay. All right. One of the things that I found when I had an outdoor kitchen that I wish I would have incorporated was a trash bin. Because
Oh,
a place
yeah.
for trash, and you got all kinds of stuff because you're
good idea.
cooking, and
Yeah.
otherwise you have to have a trash can setting out there that's not attractive. So I would suggest that.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to take these suggestions, and I think and your ideas are good, and I want you to think about it though, you know, for a little bit. But I want to take these back to Matt and let him revise his plan.
Great.
And we'll see what we can come up with.
Perfect. Great
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
All right. Going from a small wooden deck to what we have planned can be expensive. Tony met with Matt to discuss his budget concerns.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Good, thanks. How's it going?
Good.
Good to see you. Hey, I love the plans. I love the revisions that you did with the plans. And so one of the things that concerns me really is the cost.
Yeah.
We do have a budget to work with.
No problem. We're used to working within budgets, for sure. There's a lot of things that we can do to help bring the budget down for the project.
Okay.
One of the things that we can do that will save a lot of money is to try to reuse as much of the deck structure as we can.
Oh, okay.
By redoing the surface and maybe the rails, we'll give the appearance of a brand new deck.
Okay.
But we'll have half the cost into it.
I like that idea.
Which is
okay.
great. Another thing that we can do is some phasing.
Okay.
So I know that you wanted to do a spa. We can get that whole area ready for the spa, but then we can just put the spa in when budget permits. So maybe a year or two down the road or something like that.
Okay.
That way that spot's ready to go, and we don't have to redo anything.
Great. I like that idea.
And then another thing that you could do to help bring the budget down is, and I'd spoke to your mom about this, she said you were pretty handy with your hands. So I don't know if you want to, put a little sweat equity into it, but we could use you as a laborer, and that would bring costs down too.
Yeah, I'm a little rusty, but I'm up for the challenge, though.
Awesome.
With our landscape plan in place, Matt and his crew got busy clearing out the old landscaping, leveling the ground, and prepping the backyard for its new design. Tony was assigned the task of removing all the old decking material and getting them out of Matt's way. Michigan has some absolutely spectacular summers, but the growing season is short. But any backyard is not complete until you add a lot of blooming color as far as I'm concerned. I wanted to make sure that we really brought a lot of life and a lot of fun to the backyard makeover. This is Marlene Thompson, and Marlene is with Longfield Gardens, and she's also a blogger for them and a great floral designer when it comes to mixing colors. Marlene, what have you got in mind for Tony and Di's garden?
Well, I really wanted to give them a nice soft transition between the patio to the lawn, and also wanted to give them a real big burst of color.
Yeah, because right now they really don't have any color out there at all.
They have beautiful hostas back there, but they are missing the color. So I went ahead and decided to go with dahlias because they grow shorter and they are more profuse blooming. So they're going to get a lot of blooms from summer all the way to the first frost.
Okay, so now a question I have about dahlias. My mother used to grow beautiful dahlias, and she would go out every year, and she lived in Michigan. She would dig up the bulbs. How about this? I don't think Tony and Di are going to be that aggressive with their gardening.
Now, you can dig them up and you can store them in a cool, dry place, but most gardeners really do treat them as annuals. Plant them, enjoy them, pull them out, throw them away. And it's a perfect opportunity to plant your tulips as you're pulling out your dahlias.
Oh, okay, so you're just, moving right into the next season with that.
You're just rotating your bulbs.
Okay, so this is what we're looking at for the dahlias. And I see you have caladiums here.
We have there's some great sun-tolerant caladium varieties that are coming out.
Yeah, because I always thought they had to grow in the shade.
No, not anymore. They're really starting to make progress with the caladiums so that you don't have to be restricted to just the shade.
Well, the color is great with these. I see, like this one right here, you have some beautiful red and pink and green.
And these caladiums just work real nicely. The foliage works great with the dahlia blooms just because they're really pulling the color out of the leaf. So you're not restricted to green anymore with caladiums, and you're not restricted to shade.
Okay, so that's a great tip for all of us to use, and you can do that in any part of the country?
Well, you want to check your zone.
Okay.
So,
all right, so what else do you have in mind?
Because it gets real wet back there, because they're close to the river and on the pond, we're going with some cannas right here. They're going to give them the height and the interest and variety with the foliage.
It used to be when I was growing up, we had a neighbor who had cannas and they were just green. Now there's a lot of great variety, like you're talking about. Like this is, what color would you consider this? Like a purple?
This is more of a chocolate. I believe this is the Tropicana chocolate.
Okay.
So the bloom is just starting to come up here in this photo. But then we've also have this is also a canna, which is in this pot right here. And if they choose to have some containers around, we have some elephant ears that we can put, and those are nice because the upright elephant ear, if they plant it outside, if they choose to, they can bring the container inside for the winter and then take it back out on their patio again.
Really? I didn't know you could do that with elephant ears.
Upright elephant ear you can.
Excellent, excellent. And they'll stay green like that all winter?
They stay green like that all winter.
Oh, excellent. I love it. Well, these are absolutely beautiful combinations that you've brought more dahlias, and I think that that's going to be exactly what we need to add great color out there. Now, let me ask you something, because I get mail order catalogs,
Okay.
and they have flowers in them, and I use them sort of as my planner. You know, I look through my wish book like a kid would with a toy book. But I think a lot of people hesitate about buying plants through the mail order. Tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, it's actually quite online. We choose not to do the mail order catalog just to keep the savings low. But online, most quality bulb sellers will guarantee their product, as we do. So if you get something that doesn't perform, that plant is guaranteed.
Okay, all right. And so you only ship at the time that they're ready to go in?
Right. We only ship when the plants are ready to be planted. So you can't buy tulips off season. Tulips are going to be planted in the fall, so we start shipping depending on what part of the country you're in. So we will special target your zip code to make sure that you're not getting them too early and you're not getting them too late.
And I guess it's also important to realize that because you have a short shipping window that you need to order early.
Ordering early guarantees that you're going to get the biggest selection of what you want and the colors that you want.
Well, these are beautiful, beautiful colors that you've selected here for the garden outside, and I'm sure that you'll help Di put together a great bulb collection for the tulips and for the winter and spring plantings.
I think once they do this the first time, they'll realize how simple it is to just plant, pull out, plant, and pull out. It doesn't take much more than an hour of your time each season,
Well,
depending
they're
on how much you
absolutely
want to plant.
beautiful. I should have you come and do some stuff for me down in North Carolina.
Oh, would love that.
While Marlene and I discussed the new plantings, Matt and his team got busy putting together the new outdoor living spaces. When planning your backyard budget, keep in mind that expanded spaces require more outdoor furniture. Let's take a look at what's new and trending in exterior furnishings. Hey Kathleen, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Vicki?
I'm doing just great. It's, such a great day to get out and go shopping for outdoor furniture.
Oh, it is. It is. And we have such a wide variety of materials and furniture collections that you can use in the outdoor spaces.
Well, I look around here in the showroom and I'm seeing a lot of interior furniture that you have added to your showroom, as well as the outdoors. What are the trends that you're seeing people enhancing right now or embracing right now?
Well, what we are seeing, Vicki, is they like to, when they look outside from their home, they like to see that everything is flowing. So if they're using a gray palette inside, they would like to take that outside. They can carry that out in the frames and the fabrics, and then they could maybe pop some color in with the pillows. But all of the different textures and the materials that they're using on outdoor furniture now really give them that opportunity.
Well, I think it's a great idea to expand your living space by carrying out the same theme. Now, we're looking at a resin set here. It looks like wicker, but it can go right outside into the elements, correct?
Oh, yes. The outdoor furnitures are built very well now. The resins have UV inhibitors in them, so they don't fade. This is a powder-coated aluminum, so it can sit out.
Even though it looks like teak or something, it's aluminum.
We like to mix in a superstone. This is an option for outdoor furniture, and this kind of makes your room look like part of the indoors, so it's very exciting.
Well, I love that idea of mixing together, because when I work with my clients on the interior spaces, I always tell them, don't buy those matching sets. Mix it up a little bit, get some different armchairs and all. Are you suggesting the same thing for your outdoor clients?
Oh, very much, very much. We like to help our clients use the different materials to create a very interesting space with a lot of texture. I've got a good example of that. Would you like to see it?
Oh, I'd love to.
Okay. Vicki, this is a perfect example of the powder-coated aluminum frame mixed with the resin frame. A hand-woven resin, and so we like to mix materials like this together because it creates such a beautiful space with lots of texture. Also over here we have an example of the superstone top that also adds another texture to the space.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that concept of it. It makes it much more interesting than if it was an all wicker set, I think. And I really love this neutral palette and these cushions. It's texture, so that must be interior cushions.
Oh, no, they're not interior. This is outdoor materials. and it's beautiful, isn't it?
I love that.
There are lots of options like this in Sunbrella fabrics now. A lot of texture, a lot of color if you want color, a lot of patterns if you want patterns. It just is, this is the way it's trending right now. More of
Well, you know, interior-wise, we're using a lot of textures in our interior space because we are doing a neutral palette there. Are you finding the same thing with outdoor spaces, that they're staying very neutral like this, and then now, of course, we can punch it up with a texture?
That's right. Yeah, very neutral palette. If they want to add color, it's usually in the pillow or in the throw or in the flower pots.
Okay, now one of the things about performance fabrics is that, you know, they are designed to go outside as opposed to standard fabrics. What makes that possible?
Okay, well, the performance fabrics have UV inhibitors put in them. They are water resistant, stain resistant, mold resistant. So a lot of things happening with the performance fabrics to make them outdoor worthy.
Okay, now what about inside the cushions? Because, you know, these are meant to go outside because then nobody wants to be dragging their cushions in every time it looks like it's going to rain a little bit. What makes the cushions capable of staying outside?
Well, let me show you this example.
Okay.
And this is a high density foam that covers the spring, and then the foam is wrapped with a water resistant fabric, just like the Sunbrella fabric is also water resistant. The pillow top is a down feather, and it is also protected by this water resistant cover.
Okay, so you still get the comfort of springs, foam, and down, but because of the coating on it and because of the fabric, it dries very quickly?
Yes, it resists water. Water wicks away from it, and it does dry quickly. Yes.
Okay, well that's great, because if it rains this afternoon, I got a party tonight. That might be pushing it a little bit.
Okay.
I love the way that this looks. It's hard to believe that it's actually metal as opposed to wood, which makes me think about the wood concepts. Teak used to be all the rage. Are you still finding that people are enjoying and using teak?
They are. And why don't we look at some teak and we'll talk about that.
Okay, I'd love to.
Okay. So Vicki, this is a beautiful example of our natural teak. Don't you
That
like
is so pretty. I would love to use this inside my house because it's such a beautiful color.
Whoop.
Yeah,
There's
now,
no reason
can
why
you
you
keep this teak this color if you wanted to?
You can. It would take a little bit of work. Teak naturally grays out to a beautiful gray. That's why it's great at the beach. But yes, if you wanted to oil this twice a year and clean it twice a year, you could keep it looking like this.
Well, that's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. I mean, it's worth it, I'm sure, but you know, our lifestyles now really don't allow, especially if you've got a lot of chairs to go with the set or sofas. It takes a lot to keep it that way. So, you know, when it weathers out to the gray, I think that's a beautiful color as well, but you do have to go through those growing pains before, when it comes from this and goes to that.
Yeah, let me show you. I have an example of that. We have stained teak. It's called Weather. Would you like to see that as well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me show it to you over here. So Vicki, this beautiful chair here is an example of the weathered teak. So they
That is
actually,
really beautiful. It really looks like an old piece of teak.
It does, and it's designed so that you don't have to go through the weathering stage. So it comes to your house already looking like it's already weathered out, so you don't have to watch it gray out.
You can really tell the difference between the two of them when you see them side by side there. You know, the look.
Yeah, very big difference between the natural and the weathered.
Now, how do they get that look?
It is a stain. It's a stain that's put on just like you would stain your deck. And then they just build the chair after the pieces are all stained, and it's very simple. Very simple.
Just cut through that process. What do you have to do to maintain this?
Same thing. It would be, again, instead of using just hosing it off, you would use a cleaning solution, a Dawn and water.
Okay, a little soap and water.
On natural teak, you would use bleach.
Yeah,
and water to kill the mold. So, because natural products do. It's grainy, so the mold
gets into it.
And dirt can get
and
in
I love the coffee tables, the same technique that you have with both of them there.
Yeah, we have whole collections in the weathered teak. It's just
okay, what if I want the look of wood, but I don't want to do any maintenance at all?
Well, we've got a beautiful material. It looks like wood, feels like wood. Actually, it's right behind you.
Oh, okay.
This material is called Resistor. Isn't that pretty?
And is this like a plastic, or what is this?
This is actually made out of rice husk, mineral oil, and salt. Can you believe that?
Yeah. It really does look like wood. Now, is the table the same thing here?
The table is the same thing, and it's a very heavy material. If you were to try to lift that, it's very, very heavy, like wood. It looks like wood, but the cleaning, you just hose it off, wipe it down,
you're good to
and you're
go.
done. Whereas
it's like
teak,
aluminum. You treat it the same way. What about color? What if I wanted to go with this really popular weathered gray look?
Yeah, this this material does come in weathered. It comes in mahogany, which is dark brown. It comes in sandalwood, which you're looking
Which
at
is
here.
right here. Okay, this is a beautiful chair that's with it, especially, you know, like even if you just want to use 2 of these at the heads of a table.
Yeah.
Is this material outdoor material as well?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Isn't that beautiful?
It looks like seagrass, but
It
now
is.
is it a resin as well?
It's resin with all the UV inhibitors, the same thing as the other resin. It just has that, it has that texture to it that it makes it look like seagrass.
Well, you know, it's
Beautiful.
really easy to understand why people are taking some of this furniture indoors, and they're getting the look from the indoors to the outdoors,
Yeah.
because all the materials that you've been showing me, you know, the finishes and the ability to mix and match different collections together, and the fabrics that are available now, and even in the woven materials, are so much more interesting.
They really are, and it does give you that opportunity to bring the indoors out or the outdoors in. A lot of folks, like you said, will take our bar stools or something and bring them in, and it makes it very easy to coordinate and tie together your indoor space with your outdoor
Yeah,
space.
well, I love that. Well, thank you so much for this kind of 101 primer
You're
on
welcome.
outdoor
You're
furniture,
welcome.
because there's so many new choices now.
Yeah, and it is a learning curve because it wasn't always available.
It's
Yeah.
very beautiful. Thank you so much, Kathleen.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do you want to know more about the projects today or our guests? Visit us on the web. You're going to find great behind-the-scenes shots, streaming video, project ideas. We even have an e-newsletter with tips and ideas. It's foryourhome.com. Well, I think all my work is done here in Michigan, at least for this week. Let's see, we got a great landscaper on the job. We have design plans that everybody's happy with. Tony and Di are committed to that sweat equity they got to put into the project. We even have blue skies. So I think we've got all of our work done. Now you join me right here next week on For Your Home, and you're going to see how great this backyard turns out. See you then.